So friends, you may notice if you're watching me on YouTube that I have a little bit of a tan now. I just finished up my Freedom Month. I celebrate the freedom of a business owner. That's what we're all in the business for, so we can have time freedom. Now, I spent the month of June in the Florida Keys with my family, clients, and friends, had a blast. But one of the clients asked me a question. He said, "Hey, Justin, what are the things that destroy value in companies?" Now, in that moment, we were on the boat, as I said, throughout the social media accounts. We were on the boat having fun, and I answered 3 or 4 real quick. But then as we were driving back in from offshore fishing, catching some mahi and some wahoo, I started thinking more and more around these questions. And friends, I've come up with 11 things, 11 business mistakes that will destroy our values of our companies. They will slow our growth, and they'll create frustrations for us as business owners. So let me ask you a question. From your perspective, what is one thing that would destroy the value of your company? Now, let's see if I targeted your answer as one of the 11 things that I believe will destroy value in companies. And more importantly, they'll rob your freedom. They'll create frustration, and they'll slow your growth. Here we go. The first mistake is you as the business owner do not have a clear vision or strategy on how to accomplish the vision. You know, I'm sitting in the studio today, and I often point to my right. If you're on video watching me, you see me point to my right as I'm going this direction. If you're listening to me on a podcast somewhere, I'm pointing with my hand to the right of the studio. And many times I'm talking on video, you can see me pointing. So to me, I know crystal clear where I'm going in my company. But I have the opportunity to sit down with so many business owners, and so many business owners, when I ask them a simple question, "Hey, where do you want to be in 5 years?" It's like crickets or cicadas right now in the summer here in East Tennessee. It's just chirping. They don't know the answer. Just yesterday, I was talking with a group of business clients, and I'm coaching. I said, "Hey, where do you see yourself in 36 months? And one replied, I don't know." And I said, "Friends, if you don't know where you're going, then how in the world do you know if you're going to get there? How in the world do you know when you're going to arrive?" So one of the biggest mistakes business owners make is we lose sight of the trajectory. We lose sight of the destination. Our vision becomes cloudy. We get bought into the fires of our business, and we don't focus on, as the CEOs of our company, where we're leading our companies. That's a huge mistake. Now, the second deadly mistake many business owners make is they ignore financial management. And you're like, "Dude, Justin, that's not me, man. I absolutely know what's going on with the financial management of my company." Let me ask you a question. It is now July the 10th as I'm recording this. If it was July the 10th, did you look at June's financial data points and run the KPIs for your company and look at what was your return on equity, or what was your conversion ratios, or what was... Pick a data point. There's several different KPIs we talk about that I've talked about on the show. Are you absolutely certain that you know what is happening in your company? See, many times we think it, but many times we don't know. I challenge our clients to, within the first 10 days of a new month, look at the previous month's financials, look at the trailing 12 months, look at the financials in relation to the strategic plan. And in doing so, you get a full gamut. Look at your KPIs. You get a full understanding of how your business is performing in relationship to the destination you're trying to achieve, and to the goals you're trying to achieve, and to the vision that you set forth for your company. See, the second deadly mistake is we just ignore financial management. I literally had a client one time say, "Dude, I got my numbers," and he pulled out a napkin out of his center console. And I'm like, "Buddy, I know you know how much is in the bank, but you're highly inefficient." And that destroys value. It destroys value in our companies. The third killer of business is poor leadership. Friends, as business owners, often we're really good at our trade, or really good at our skill set, and we knew we could build a widget, or we knew we could deliver a service, and we're used to doing it for clients, and our clients or our customers love our offering. But now we wake up one day and we look around us and we have 4, 5, 6, 10, 15, 25, 30 employees, maybe 100 employees around you. And all of a sudden we haven't invested in our leadership capabilities as business owners. You see, we as business owners, oftentimes we're not leaders, we're technicians. And one of the things that will destroy your company's value is poor leadership. You see, poor leadership leads to poor morale. It leads to increased turnover. It leads to a lack of direction. It leads to ambiguity. It leads to, as I said recently in a podcast, every man does that which is right in their own eyes. With a lack of leadership, the employees cast off restraint. In other words, they do what they think is best, and oftentimes it's not leading your company to the value that you desire within your organization. So how are you as a leader? Will your team charge hell with a water pistol? Will they go through the storm, through the fray with you? Or are you starting to hear some of that grumbling, some of that complaining? Are you having to lock your team down with these legal documents? I was interested to see the FTC actually are dealing with this non-compete clause because so many business owners, they run horrible cultures of their company and they lean on the legal system to try to lock in employees. Friends, that's not the company I want to work for, nor is that the company that I want to be a part of and lead with my organization. I want to have the team where they want to rally with me. They want to charge that goal line. They want to follow the leadership of the company in order to help the company and them reach their desired destination. So the third deadly thing that will destroy the value of your company is poor leadership. Now, the first three things are kind of fun, but this fourth point is one that I don't see many business owners actually take seriously, and that is this. The fourth thing that will destroy your company is neglecting market research. Let me ask you a very simple question. When is the last time that you, as a business owner, did market research on the type of business that you're in your locale, in your zip code, in your geographical area, in your NAIC code? Whenever I ask business owners to show me their market research, many times they're like, dude, what is that? How do I conduct market research? So friends, if you're not doing market research and comparing where your company is compared to the competition, compared to what your clientele is looking for, then it will destroy your value. Now, it may be a lag. It may take some time, but you will destroy your value. You will erode the very thing that we're trying to seek to build. And that is, can you build a company that provides freedom for you, provides satisfaction for your employees, and deliver on the promises that you've made to your clients, to your customers? And if you're not doing market research, friends, it will destroy your value. Will, no questions asked. Now, when we're talking about market research, you may have thought I was going to talk about marketing. That's actually the fifth mistake, is ineffective marketing and sales strategy. You know, oftentimes we business owners view marketing and sales as the same thing. And I think I've dealt with this so many times on the podcast for the last 5, 6, 7 years now that they are two separate things. But we're very ineffective as business owners on our marketing skill set as well as our sales skill set. They're separate. They're so disconnected. Whenever you go to exit your company, or whenever you go to the bank to start looking to borrow additional capital, or you want PE to come in alongside of you, one of the things they're going to look for is, what is your growth rate? How much is your spend? Where are you wasting dollars? What are your metrics? They're going to want to see these things. And as a business owner, if you don't understand the marketing data, or it's inefficient, and you're just pouring money down the drain, then here's what a savvy business owner is going to do. I'm going to look at it. I'm going to say, you know what? They're missing the mark. Their avatar is wrong. They're using the wrong medium. They're spending dollars wastefully. If we just redeploy these dollars, then I could see a lift of this company of 13, 14, 20, 30% in NOI. And therefore, I'm going to get a value purchase, or the business owner is not going to get the full value, and I'm going to take that value. Now, I don't know about you, but I want to live this life of freedom. I want to be able to not be bound by my company. I don't want to be worried about finances or stress. I want to have the golden goose. I want to be able to deliver on what my promises are to my customers. And many times, without understanding marketing, we aren't able to do that. More importantly, we're leaving money on the table. So friends, being inefficient in your marketing and sales, it will erode your value. It will destroy your value. It's a huge value play. PE companies are looking for the value play. And many times small business owners just leave so much, tens of millions of dollars on the table could be there because of inefficiencies around sales and marketing. So we're about halfway through my list. And as I was sitting there in the Florida Keys thinking about the things that destroy value, I can't help but say failure to innovate. You see, what happens in business is we start progressing, we start making money, we start growing our team, we start growing our solutions, and then the fires happen. And then the glass ceiling, as is often said, we start bumping our head against the glass ceiling. What then transpires is we become a firefighter. As a business owner, we run from employee to employee, trying to pat them on the head and keep them all safe. Or we run from client to client who's disgruntled and try to pat them on the head and make them happy. Or we run from supplier to supplier. Or we run from, and just put your data point in there. The reality is whenever we start becoming that firefighter or we hit that glass ceiling, one of the reasons is we fail to innovate. We're not looking at ways to add more value to the people that trust us. We're still selling the same old product, or we're still selling the same old service, and we're not bringing our product or our service in alignment with where the market is today. It's like we've set our business on cruise control. And friends, from a value perspective, me as a business buyer love that, because I'm able to get a discount when I purchase a business versus having to pay the owner of the company what their true value of the company is, because of failure to innovate. It's a deadly mistake that's going to destroy the value of your company. Let me ask you a simple question. When is the last time that you rolled out a new product or a new service? Or when is the last time that you enhanced your current offering and your customers gave you positive feedback? You gave them more for the same price or less. Well, that leads into number 7. Mistake number 7 is we often ignore customer feedback. So many businesses do not have a structured way to get customer feedback. I'm working with a particular business right now, and in the last year, they have not one time asked their customers for feedback. And I was asking the business owner, I'm like, how do you know if your customers like what you're doing? He goes, well, because we have good retention. I said, what are your retention numbers? And he paused. He didn't know. And I said, well, you're just saying you have good retention, but could it be that you're just replacing through the front door the very thing that's going out the back door? Again, he didn't know. The reality is that so many of us as business owners, we're not getting the feedback from the people who want our service or who want to do business with us. And if we are getting customer feedback, many times we ignore it. We have so many other things going on that, hey, we'll just put that on the board. We'll put that as a bullet point on the boards of things we got to get to. We'll talk about that in 6 months or 12 months if we do strategic planning. We'll deal with it then. The reality is, friends, is if you're building a highly valuable business, customer feedback, it's like the blood going into the heart. It helps us keep our business viable. It helps us keep our business value secure. So let me ask you a question. When's the last time that you took customer feedback and implemented change within your company? And if you did, hey, do me a favor, drop me a comment below and let me know how it went. Let me know some of the customer feedback that you received and some of the changes that you made. I'd love to hear it. Maybe shoot me a message on YouTube or on social media and say, hey, Goodbread, man, this is what happened. I just want to celebrate with you. I want to celebrate, give you a fist bump virtually, and maybe even hop on the phone and just talk with you about it. I'd love to hear when people create change directly from those individuals who are purchasing their product or service. So number 7 is ignoring customer feedback. Now, that plays directly into point number 8. Now, point number 8 is this. Oftentimes, the reason why we ignore customer feedback is because we're overextending our resources. Now, when I talk about resources, yes, you could put money in there, you could put time, you could put your team, you could put your abilities, you could put you may say that your technology, you have a lot of resources in your company. But we as business owners, especially those of us who are high visionary, we know exactly, and there I am pointing to the right side of the room again, we know exactly where we want to be. We can see it, we can taste it, it's as if we're already there. And when we look behind us, our team is back there panting. They're back there saying, no more, boss, no more, we can't take on any more. Because we've overextended our resources. Or maybe we go to the bank and we need more capital to launch a strategic initiative or to buy a strategic alliance out or to hire a new strategic employee. And the bank said, time out, no more money. You can't get any more loans from us because you're at your capacity. See, one mistake that's going to kill the value of your company is whenever we overextend resources. And overextension of resources is a direct result of a lack of strategic planning. So let me ask you this question. When you look in your company, what are you overextending? I can almost bet that you're working your team harder than they desire to be worked. Now, you may say, Justin, all employees don't want to work. I disagree with that. I have a dynamic team, and these guys and gals are rock stars. So I don't necessarily know if I agree with that. But more than likely, we as business owners, we have such a vision, we have such a drive that we want people to behave as us, but then our team, they just don't carry the same drive. They're not the boss. They're not the owner. They are dedicated professionals who are within our organizations to help us drive forward. more than likely, you as a business owner, you're overextending your resources. And if you are, friends, you're going to destroy the value in your company. As I mentioned in the introduction, we were coming in from offshore. We had caught a mess of mahi. I think we lost one wahoo. We had a tuna break us off. We had fun. And he asked me the question, Justin, what will destroy the value of my company? And one of the things that I mentioned right off the bat was, here's number 9, a lack of focus on core competencies. And I saw him in that moment. That's all I said. I said, brother, a lack of focus on your core competencies will destroy your business value. And he leaned up against the rail of the boat. He put his hand up where the fishing rod holder should be. And he said, I need to think about that for a second. And you could see his wheels turning, as if to say, that's me. That's me. You see, in every business, there may be 2, maybe 3 things that really, really, really matter to your customer. Now, we do a lot of things. I get that. But from your customer's perspective, the people who are paying the bill, there's only really 2, maybe 3 things that really matter. In the financial services world, I'll tell you a couple. Number 1, if somebody reaches out to you, return their call, return their email promptly. Don't wait weeks. That is a nail in the coffin on a core competency that people expect. Number 2 is do what you say you're going to do. Be trustworthy. That's a core competency. You know, I've been in the financial world. I was in the financial world for 2 decades. And many times, you know, if the portfolio didn't exactly line up with perhaps a benchmark, maybe it was off a quarter, whatever, that really, the customer wasn't too happy with it, but it wasn't a deal breaker. But if you said you were going to do something and you didn't do it, done. Forget it. Or if they called you and you acknowledged their call, but you didn't do what you said you're going to call them back, done. That's like tainting the well, man. In your business, there's probably 2, maybe 3 things that your customer expects from you. And if you don't nail down those 2 or 3 things, because we get busy with everything else, we get busy with, we as business owners, on this shiny object syndrome, then friends, it's going to harm your value. Think about this. Let's say you and I go and sit at a restaurant. Maybe we're down in the Florida Keys next year. You're with me on the boat. We're doing some coaching, and we're sitting at a restaurant. We're having some grouper sandwiches, some blackened grouper sandwich. And some conch fritters. Just good stuff. And we place the order, and 40 minutes later, we still haven't seen the server. Now, more than likely, before it went 40 minutes, one of us is going to get up and say, hey, what's going on here? We didn't get our tea. We didn't get our pina colada, whatever it is that you would drink, Mai Tai, whatever it is. Sweet tea is what I like to drink. But we didn't get this, and I wonder what's going on. And we turn around, the server's over there laughing and giggling and sitting in the front with a bunch of other servers, and it's like, oh, yeah, I'll get to you in a second. More than likely, you and I are going to probably be like, dude, we're not going to wait here. Let's go to some other restaurant. The same is true in your business, friends. There are a couple of things that your customers need. What are they? And have you forsaken them? The 10th thing that will destroy the value in your company is inadequate risk management. Inadequate risk management. You know, friends, whenever you gain something, you protect it. Whenever my children were born, we protected them. We protected them through a number of different ways. We protected them legally. We protected them through insurances. We protected them as mother and father because God gave them for us to raise them. We gained them into our family and we protected them. Whenever we have our dogs, we took our dogs down to the Florida Keys, Samson and Dixie. Samson's a big old mastiff. Everybody would drive by on their boat and like, look at that lion. He's almost 200 pounds, big teddy bear. He likes to slobber. He likes to get out there and go swimming and play with his ball. But whenever he comes into our life, we protect him. We put a fence around him. Whenever he has fleas, which happens in the country a lot, we get rid of the fleas because we want to protect him. The same is true in your business. There are things in your business that you have gathered. More than likely, you haven't protected them. I'll give you one key point, and that is intellectual property. You as a business owner have IP, as we often say. You have intellectual property. Here's an example. More than likely, you have a website. Many times I look at businesses and they have a website, but it's not copywritten. They don't have it protected. Or maybe they have a process that has allowed their business to move exponentially above the rest of their field. Why don't we get a trademark on that? Why don't we get some protection around their business? Maybe you're lacking in some insurances that what if scenarios came up? I had a client years ago. I said, hey, you need to get some flood insurance on your business. He's like, Justin, I don't need flood insurance. I'm not in a flood zone. I say, I get that, but this area of this town often has backed up sewage line. He goes, I don't need that. My business owner insurance, my BOP policy will cover it. And it didn't. A flood insurance covers rising water. And so whenever the sewage backed up in this particular thing, he was uncovered because he had inadequate risk management. So friends, let me ask you, when you look at your business, are you protected? Do you have your legal affairs in order? Do you have your risk management affairs in order? Do you have your employee affairs in order? Do you have your processes? Are they protected? How about cybersecurity? There's just a few things right off the top of my head that you might want to consider. These are the things we teach our coaching clients. These are the things we teach in Value Growth University. These is actually, if you want to do a self-paced, you can go through Value Growth Academy and look at the risk management component and do checklists for yourself. I will have, by the way, all the links for those in the show notes below. Now, number 11 is not to be forgotten. This number 11 is perhaps one that will damage your value more than anything else. And that is this. You're neglecting strategic planning. Let's dissect those words. Strategic. Strategic means I know where I'm at, I know where I'm going, and I'm trying to create a process of efficiency and effectiveness. I'm trying to create a process of profitability. That's strategic. I know what I'm trying to accomplish. Again, go back to point number 1 of this lesson here today. Many people don't even know that. And then planning. We're going to take and provide a step-by-step action for us to move toward that destination. And we're going to do so in 90-day sprints. We're going to do so by writing down action items so that everybody on the team knows exactly what needs to be accomplished over the next 90 days. You see, friends, whenever you neglect your strategic planning as a business owner, you're ultimately harming, and I would say destroying, your company's value. Now, how would I defend that statement? It's because I've seen so many business owners that whenever they don't have a clear destination, the shiny object kicks in, or the fire rises, or the key customer leaves, or they're not making moves to deal with the macro or the microeconomics of their particular situation. But strategic planning allows you to pause. The old Hebrew word is selah. It says just take a pause for a second. Step away, recharge, look openly at the company, try to figure out where the holes are, try to figure out where the opportunities are, and let's move forward for the next 90 days. Friends, every company that I have the honor and privilege to coach, every company who goes through our university who takes time to pause, look at the field that they're dealing with, look at the future in front of them over the next 90 days, look at what just happened in their company. Friends, I'm telling you, I can't guarantee it, but I can almost promise it that if you step back and follow a proven strategy, one of those being strategic planning, you could see your company double or triple in value in as little as 18 months. I've seen companies double or triple in as quick as 6 months. I've seen companies double or triple in as long as 36 months. In my own world, I took a company from startup to an exit of 8 figures within 49 months. Under 4 years, right at 4 years. I've taken companies that have margin rates of 4% that are doing multi-million, 20, 30, $40 million of revenue, and I've seen them double their revenue in as little as 12 months, all as an outcome of strategic planning. So friends, if you're not doing strategic planning, if you don't have somebody coaching you through this process as a third party, helping you look at the pitfalls, then friends, you're destroying the value of your company. There's so much value in your company. There's so much efficiency, the golden goose that you dream about, the freedom month that I just had, and you're like, Justin, I'd never be able to take a month off work. The freedom month that I just had where my company can accelerate while I'm gone. You can have that, friends. Mistake number 11, neglecting strategic planning. It's one of those things that will destroy your value and will prevent you from reaching the desires that you have for your company and for yourself. So friends, there you have it. There are 11 deadly mistakes that will destroy your business's value. Let me ask you, are you making any of the 11 mistakes that I pointed out? You know, early in the episode, I said, hey, look, think about it. What is one mistake that will destroy your business's value? Let me ask you, did I actually state the mistake that you identified? If I didn't, do me a favor, drop a comment below and say, hey, Goodbread, here's the mistake I identified. What are your thoughts? I want to see what mistakes you believe will destroy your company's value. More importantly, what are you going to do about it? Knowing which mistake to avoid is only part of the solution. You also need to avoid falling victim to the million-dollar lies that we as business owners often tell ourselves. Fortunately, I created a video that's right here, and I challenge you to take a look at it because these million-dollar lies will destroy your freedom. Now, before you go, I am excited. Oh, I'm so excited to announce that we've turned on our YouTube membership. So many of you said, hey, Goodbread, I want to be a part of this, a little bit more than just watching you on YouTube. One of the things that you'll receive as part of the YouTube membership is you'll have priority selection to your questions. You would not imagine the number of questions that I field off all the social media when I'm speaking, when I'm coaching clients, when we're doing our Value Growth Academy or our Value Growth University. So many questions. So if you're part of the YouTube membership, you'll receive priority to have your questions answered. And as you've seen, we're launching a Q&A session where I'm trying to dive deep and answer all the questions that come to me. My team does an excellent job at taking those questions, summarizing them for me, and then we'll capture them on video. So friends, until next time, hey, y'all go out and make it a great day.